You want to know what it's like to live in Stamford, Connecticut? Let's explore. If you want more information about the schools, trains, cost of living, and more, subscribe to the channel. There are many reasons to move to Stamford, but what most people tell me is they come here primarily for the lower housing costs. Relative to Greenwich, Darien, and New Canaan, the neighboring towns, the cost of housing in Stamford is much lower. It also has 3 train stations in town and 1 just over the line in New Canaan. If you leave from the main station, you're going to get to Grand Central in about 50 minutes, and some of the largest companies call Stamford home, so if you're looking to live and work in the same town, Stamford offers that advantage. If you'd like a copy of this map, I'll leave a link below in the description. Alrighty, let's talk about the trains really quick before we get into the particular neighborhoods. Stamford has 1 station on the main New Haven line, sometimes also called the Red Line, and then there is the New Canaan branch that runs up through Stamford. There are 3 stations on that branch that if you live in Stamford you may use: Talmadge Hill, Springdale, and Glenbrook. If you choose to use one of those stations, what you should know is that it's possible you'll have to transfer at the main station, and that may add some time to your commute. For most people, they just work with it, but I just want you to be aware of that before you make your decision. By the way, when we talk about times to the train stations, we're talking about driving times and not walking times. If you'd like a home within walking distance to the train station, I'll leave you with a link below in the description where you can go to my website, and I've mapped out homes that are within 20 minutes of any train station in the area. Also, you can save your search there and be notified of new homes that come on that are within walking distance to those train stations. Let's start in Newfield. So Newfield is a suburban neighborhood, mostly single family homes, and I would say that the lots are medium to somewhat large in some areas. You're going to have access to 2 train stations right there in the area, and you may trek down to the main station. So the 2 stations that you might use that are close to Newfield are Talmadge Hill or Springdale. There are also 2 golf courses right there in your neighborhood. So as we work our way through the video, we're going to talk about house prices. These are typical prices. Some homes will sell for less and some homes will sell for more. In Newfield, condos are going to range between $300,000 and $600,000. Single family homes are between $400,000 and $800,000. And if you choose to rent, you're looking at between $1,600 and $4,000 a month. Let's move over to Springdale. Springdale is a neighborhood with smaller lots, and you're going to find that it has good access to amenities like shopping. It also has its own train station. Depending on where you are in Springdale, you're going to be anywhere between 1 and 6 minutes to that station. One of the big advantages most people tell me that they find in Springdale is that it is one of the most affordable neighborhoods with a station right in it, and that's one of its biggest draws. You're going to find that condos range between $175,000 and $475,000. Single family homes range between $375,000 and $700,000. And if you're looking to rent in Springdale, you're looking between $1,500 and $3,200 a month. Okay, let's head over to Glenbrook. Glenbrook is a similar neighborhood to Springdale, but the major difference with Glenbrook is that you're going to find more mid-rise and high-rise buildings. If you're looking for condos, this is a great area to search because there are absolutely tons of them. If you use the Glenbrook train station, you're looking at between 1 and 6 minutes depending on where you choose to live. Again, it's one of the most affordable neighborhoods, just like Springdale, with its own station right in it. You'll find that the home prices are pretty similar. Again, condos are going to range between $175,000 and $450,000. Single family homes are between $325,000 and $575,000. And if you choose to rent in Glenbrook, you're looking at between $1,400 and $3,000 a month. Okay, let's move on to the South End. South End is an area which has seen a significant amount of revitalization in the last decade or so. There's an area called Harbor Point where a developer has come in, or several developers have come in and redone the area, and it has completely transformed the space. There's a budding tech vibe. The waterfront and the harbor is right there. There's a really amazing park right on the peninsula of the neighborhood, right there on the point. You're going to find that this is mostly a rental neighborhood. That's the way the developer is currently approaching. I should say the developers are currently approaching this particular neighborhood. The rents are going to range anywhere between $1,500 and $5,000 a month. Let's move on to downtown. Now, downtown, like the name sounds, is a more urban environment, and it's where you're going to find much of the shopping, the nightlife, and the entertainment for the area. Stamford has really great diversity, and that it impacts our restaurants, where we just have a ton of different really amazing cuisines to choose from. Many of these restaurants are right there in downtown. There's a Live at 5 summer concert on a weekly basis during the summer where you can listen to live music. You're going to find that condos are going to range between $175,000 and $750,000. There really aren't any single families. However, if you want to rent in the area, you're looking at between $1,400 and $3,300 per month. Alrighty, let's move on to Cove. Now, Cove is a unique area on the water. There are two really amazing parks, Cove Beach and Park and Cummings Beach and Park. When you check out this area, definitely go explore both of those. You're probably going to use the main station. It's between 7 and 11 minutes from Cove, depending on where you are. The Chelsea Piers complex for our area is right there in the neighborhood. You're going to find that some of the homes are going to have some deferred maintenance, while the waterfront area has some more of the fancy homes. Condos range between $175,000 and $425,000. Single families are between $350,000 and $650,000. And if you choose to rent in Cove, you're probably going to pay between $1,400 and $2,200 per month. Alrighty, moving on to Chapin. So Chapin is a peninsula where most of Stamford's most exclusive waterfront estates exist. If you live in Chapin, you're probably going to use the main station, and you're between 6 and 10 minutes away from that station. There's a public beach that surrounds almost the entire peninsula. However, there are two of the largest beaches that you're probably going to use, either West Beach or Ridgeway Beach. Condos are going to range between $300,000 and $575,000. Single family homes are between $475,000 and $1.4 million. And if you choose to rent in Chapin, you're looking at between $1,800 and $6,500 per month. Alright, let's move over to Waterside. One of the main advantages of Waterside is that you're really just a few minutes from the main station, if that's important to you, and it's one of the most affordable neighborhoods within proximity to the main station. You're going to find that you're within 2 to 6 minutes of that station, depending on where you are. There are several waterfront condo complexes, so if you're looking for a waterfront condo, this is probably one of the areas that you're going to focus on. There's a really great park right there in your neighborhood. You should be aware that you're going to find some of the areas are more industrial and have some deferred maintenance. Condos are going to range between $225,000 and $575,000. Single family homes are between $350,000 and $500,000. And if you choose to rent in Waterside, you're looking at between $1,500 and $6,000 a month. Those $6,000 homes are going to be ones that are on the water. Let's move over to Westside. Westside is within 2 to 6 minutes of the main station. You're going to find that some of the areas are more industrial in nature, and some of the areas are going to have some deferred maintenance to the homes. Condos are going to range between $200,000 and $400,000. Single family homes are between $250,000 and $450,000. If you choose to rent on the west side, you're looking at between $1,400 and $2,600 per month. Let's move up to Ridgeway. Ridgeway is about 5 to 9 minutes from the main station. Scalzi Park is your biggest park right there in the community. Definitely check it out if you're exploring the area. You've got a golf course, and there are a ton of townhomes in Ridgeway. So if you want close proximity to downtown and to the train station, and you want townhome type living, Ridgeway is definitely an area that you're going to want to explore. Another advantage to the Ridgeway area is that you can walk to much of the shopping in many of the areas. Condos are going to range between $175,000 and $500,000 a month. Single families are between $350,000 and $775,000 a month. And if you choose to rent in Ridgeway, you're looking between $1,400 and $3,500 per month. Move up to the mid-ridges. In the mid-ridges, you're probably going to use the main station. It's between 9 and 13 minutes away. Condos range between $250,000 and $1.3 million. Single-family homes are between $400,000 and $725,000. And if you choose to rent in mid-ridges, you're looking between $1,500 and $3,500 per month. Alrighty, now let's move over to Westover. So Westover is an area that has, in some areas, more exclusive, larger homes. So if that's what you're looking for in Stanford, Westover is probably an area that you're going to want to explore. You're also not terribly far from the main station. You're between 7 and 13 minutes, depending on where you are in Westover. You also have access to a golf course, which according to our map is technically in the Ridgeway area. However, it's really on the borderline between the two neighborhoods. And you're going to find there's some really great hiking at Mianus River Park. Condos are going to range between $450,000 and $1.2 million. Single family homes are between $475,000 and $1.3 million. And if you choose to rent in Westover, you're looking at between $2,200 and $6,000 a month. Let's move on to North Stamford. North Stamford is different than many of the other neighborhoods. You're going to find that there are much larger lots, typically speaking, in North Stamford, and the homes are spread farther apart. It has more of a rural feel than most of the town does. If you're in North Stamford and you need to use the train, you're probably going to use the Talmadge Hill or the main station, which is anywhere between 4 minutes and 20 minutes away, depending on where you are in North Stamford. It's a fairly large neighborhood. You have the Stanford Museum and Nature Center right there. Bartlett Arboretum is there as well, and Schofield Park is another great place to go take a walk. There are no condos in North Stamford. However, single families are going to be between $500,000 and $975,000, and the rent is going to range between $2,000 and $6,000 per month. If you want more information about Stanford or any of the other towns in the area, subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every Friday.